And here comes our number 5 seed, Santu Havanainen. And Santu, it was a pretty interesting position round game because there was no way you were getting in the top 3, but yet you had guys like Belmo chasing your tail, and you could have, if somebody would have popped a big game with Nathan Bohr and Belmo or Bill O'Neill and Belmo, you could have gotten dropped out at the top. How did you stay so focused knowing what was going on to your right?
I was like, I don't even know. I feel like I wasn't completely focused during the day, but I was like, there's no way I'm gonna throw away 71 games in one game that I gotta get my stuff together, start bowling well. Just it was a good to have 3-minute practice, so I got lined up well on that lane. And yeah, it went all the way to the 9th and 10th frame. I knew if Y was gonna strike out from the 8th all the way to the end, I needed a first strike on the 10th frame to actually make it. So, and it was a good shot.
How does it feel to now be competing for your first PBA major and having to take on probably the greatest of all time in the first round?
I gotta say it feels good because that is also like if you beat Belmo, I bet there's no bowler in the world that doesn't get in a flow and like, come on, please give me like a next one if you know what I mean. Like that's the biggest head you can take off from the step ladder. So I feel like if you can manage to do it, it's like a really good pump up for the next matches.
Back home in Finland, it's going to be around the dinner hour when this airs. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of your friends and family watching. Do you want to say something to them to encourage you to watch and finish over here?
I can do it in English as well, so everyone else can understand.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, hopefully they can understand as well. But it's been great. Like I got so much message and stuff. Like, and it feels crazy as well. Like having all that support from almost anyone who follows the bowling in Finland, and I feel like there's more than ever people following bowling, and having all that support behind you means a lot.
You get to see Santu once again. It's his 3rd show from the World Series coming up on Sunday on Big Daddy Fox. Thanks for your time, Santu.
Thank you.
And, nice bowling. And here we are with the number 4 seed, Jason Belmonte. Jason, is that the best 12 games of match play you've ever had in your PBA career? 11-1 match play record, and the run from 12th to the show is amazing.
Yeah, it was a good day. I don't know. There was a World Championship in Vegas 2020 where I think I may have averaged more for more games, but the context, of today, knowing that I had just today and I had 350 pins or whatever it was to catch on a relatively high scoring pattern. I kind of came in this morning hoping that, I don't know, the scores were going to be low, so I could, if I bowled well, I could catch a lot of pins. I wasn't expecting them to be as high as they got to, but I was able to just strike out a couple times more than most.
Now we know on the high end here at Bolero Wauwatosa, some of those pairs are very different pair to pair. I'm sure you had the mental notes from during the week, but how did you keep the ball in play so it seemed easily watching you as you went from pair to pair?
Yeah, I didn't really see that much difference, and typically that's what you're going to see when there's one to a lane, and the bowling balls that we were using are the urethane bowling balls, and so for the most part, when you're using the higher tech bowling balls, they are constantly manipulating the oil pattern, so you can catch a pair that's hooking 10 more, you can catch a pair that is super tight down lane, but when you're using urethane, I think I might have moved 2 boards all day. So when I felt that, I knew so did most. Most people probably were feeling the moves were very micro moves. And when it gets like that, if you get yourself dialed in, you can really throw a number out there. And so once I felt that, I was like, okay, there is no reason for you to not make some pretty big scores today. And that last 6 games in particular, I felt like I saw the ball going through them just the way I wanted to.
Did you kind of have what was the mindset going into today's games and then the qualifying rounds and then trying to fight for your way to the actual show?
Well, okay, so the qualifying rounds was very different. I kind of felt like I wasn't as mentally strong through the qualifying rounds. I definitely got a little bit more frustrated than I normally do. And then I've had a couple of days off, so I was able to really decompress and change my entire attitude coming into today. When I came in today, I knew to catch that many pins, I kind of gave myself, you're allowed 2 misses a game. That's it. If you catch a game where you miss once, all right, well, you're allowed to miss 3 somewhere else. And so when I kind of put myself into that mindset of you're not giving yourself you're not allowed to miss, then I definitely feel like, man, my focus is very narrowed, and I'm incredibly determined to make good shots. I need to probably think like that from the first bowl of qualifying, probably. Just be exhausting if I did that, but I've got to probably do that.
It's going to be an early Monday morning for the family to watch back home in Australia?
Yeah, it'll be a Monday morning. I think the kids are going back to school, so we had a bit of a holiday back home, school holidays. So maybe they can take one more day off, and they can wake up early and watch. And hopefully, I can be as focused and determined on Sunday as I was today.
I'm sure the crowd here in Milwaukee is going to be behind you going for major number 16 on Sunday. Thanks for your time, Jason.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you.
And here's our number 3 seed, Jacob Buttrock. Jacob, man, it was an interesting day for you. You came in the day in the lead. It wasn't much of a lead over EJ Tackett. A little bit of an up and down morning took you down to 3rd place. You were back in 1st place by the time position round came around. And then there was one really nasty break in the 5th frame of that position round game that kind of took you out of the lead, and EJ kind of passed you. What did you think of that pocket 8-10 split? That was just brutal.
It was a very rough break. Obviously, kind of derailed my momentum a little bit, but bad breaks like that, you have to move on. Obviously, really rough break, dropped me down quite a bit, but now I just got a couple more extra games I have to bowl if I want to pull this off.
Yeah, I noticed during the roll-off with Anthony Simonson that you were kind of like rubbing your thumb a little bit or something. Are you having a little problem with it, or is it just the nervous thing that you were just rubbing your thumb a bit?
I think it's just I get like this little nerve in my thumb every now and then. Happened to me a couple times during qualifying this week, but it just so happens that I have a chance to win the roll-off. But moments like that you just can't control sometimes. So just gotta move on from it and get ready for the show.
So you won the Scorpion Championship earlier this week, which was your first title in 4 years. Does the mindset going into that any different than going into this event?
Definitely, it's a different mindset just because you're bowling for a major title now. So I think bowling for a major title now, you definitely got a lot on the line too. I mean, winning a title is awesome as well, but when you have to bowl the very next day and keep trucking along, you have to treat it like a new tournament.
If you win Sunday, we get to put the words Hall of Fame eligible, Jacob Buttrock, with your name, because you'll have the 2 majors along with 8 titles. You only need 5 and 2 majors to be Hall of Fame eligible. It's got to feel a little warm and fuzzy right now. I know you still got to win a couple of games on Sunday, but that's got to be a pretty good feeling knowing that you're that close to Hall of Fame eligible.
It's definitely that feeling that you jitter and you get happy. You get happy with those moments. So I think that if I were to pull this off, it would just be a memorable week, and we're going to give it our all.
Good luck to you on Sunday. We'll see you on Fox on Sunday morning here in Milwaukee, Sunday afternoon on the East Coast, and good luck to you. And I know all your fans out west are going to be cheering for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jacob. And here comes our number 2 qualifier, Anthony Simonson. Anthony, tough day on the lanes, man, the scoring pace, everything. You end up getting in a roll-off. How exhausted do you feel right now?
No comment.
Sunday, ready for the show? Number 2 seed?
No comment.
What are you going to do for the rest of the weekend to get ready?
No
for the show?
comment.
Thanks for your time, Anthony. And here we are with our number 1 seed, EJ Tackett. Yeah, man. What a day. I joked around with you after the break that it was your best, worst match play clock ever because you bowled so well and you couldn't get those bonus pins, and the same thing happened in the afternoon. How did you keep yourself sane as those 30 bonus pins kept disappearing by a pin or two for a couple of those matches this afternoon?
Honestly, I have no idea.
It was really hard to stay in it. I think honestly it was maybe a little bit to do with Butters not running away with it. He kind of kept me in it, honestly. Didn't bowl well game 5, and then I was able to win that game. Fortunately, didn't bowl a huge score, but then I knew coming into game 6, I basically just had to beat him and not lose by more than like 32 to Simo. So it was like watching both, trying to beat Butters, but also watching what Simo was doing. But it was definitely a grind, even though the scores were pretty high. It was a mental grind for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another adjustment you have to make all week, and a lot of those parents, other than Cheetah, it was grind once you got the Scorpion and Shark. How do you make that mindset back where you switch and you go, these scores are going to be high, I got to be super sharp?
Yeah, I mean, when we practiced, when I practiced yesterday, I didn't really see that the scores were going to be as high as they were. I knew they were going to be a little bit easier, but I didn't anticipate that high of scoring. But you come out and sometimes it's not what you expect it to be, and you have to adapt. And I try to do that the best I can. Like I said, I bowled well. It just couldn't get those wins. But we got to the number 1 seed, so that's all that matters really.
How does it feel to be exactly in the number 1 seed?
It's always the best feeling because no matter what happens, who you bowl, you're going to be bowling for, in this case, a major championship. It's always the most envious place to be, just because you have a chance and you only have to bowl 1 game to win that championship. We know over the course of history that the number 1 seed has lost more times than they've won, but I think if you ask any player, they'd much rather have an automatic chance at winning a championship than having to climb the ladder.
Thanks for your time, EJ. We'll see you on that World Championship show on Fox on Sunday morning.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, guys.